Welcome to today's session. I want to talk about a very powerful topic, and that is getting real, deep and honest team buy-in and alignment for what you need to do in your team. The problem is that many managers, when they stand up and address their team and they need to achieve a new target for the next year, for the next month, they will say, we need to achieve X. Any questions? And guess what will follow next? Normally, it's called thundering silence. And we kind of stand and go, oh, God, okay, so what do I do now? And you're stuck with that silence because the problem is this. You have thrown something at your team. They sit there and they have been trained over years and years and years to do one thing. As long as I stay silent and you don't force me to answer, I'm kind of on the safe side. And you've achieved one thing. You have neither achieved total agreement, nor have you achieved open questions, nor have you achieved buy-in. The next thing that many people then do is they go, come on team, I know we can achieve it, and you start motivating them and forcing them into agreeing to do what you need them to do. Let's take a different approach, and an approach that really does work is the following. Let's talk about catching fish. How many ways do you know how to catch a fish? Well, there's a few famous methods. Method number one, well, you can use hands. Problem is that the fish won't think you're giving it a free massage. It will wiggle and fight you. Next thing, you can use a spear gun. Does it work? Very effective, but painful, and the fish will fight you. Of course, you can use a net, but the net means the fish will be entangled and still struggle and fight you. Well, you can use poison. Tricky, but it does work, but the fish is definitely not coming willingly. And dynamite, also violent. And then there is the famous old hook. And this is what many people use. That's old-fashioned selling, which means that you promise something wonderful called a bait, and the moment the fish takes the bait, something terrible happens because you're going to yank it and fight it until you subdue it. So the real question is, what is the only way for the fish to catch itself willingly and unresistingly? And there's something very interesting. We call it a kelong in Asia, you know, the fish trap, which essentially is a V shape with a box at the end. So let's talk about it. The way that we actually can engender true agreement with a team is to build a V shape of questions that will allow a team to follow you and create total agreement. Let's give an example. I'm going to take a very simple example that I use at the beginning of many sessions in transformational leadership. One of the first things that is very interesting in a team is, can a team actually have something called time integrity, to be on time? Because if, as a team, we cannot even keep an agreement to be on time, that means we cannot start on time, we will actually become inefficient because people drop in as they wish and want. So the first thing that I suggest you be very stringent about is to create a real team integrity around time. And from there on, you can build a lot of other little rules that will make your team more efficient. So let's start. When I start a session normally, the first question in that funnel will be, hey, what's your time? And say we have agreed to start a session at 9 o'clock. And so I just ask, what's your time? Each single individual. Surprise, surprise, we're going to find out one interesting fact. Most all of us don't have the same time on our time device. So the first observation will be, so we don't all have the same time. No, we don't. Can we agree it's time to start? Well, okay, let's agree to do that. Fantastic. Next question is, hey, how old are you? And so you ask the people, and all of a sudden, everybody realizes, wow, we're legally adult. That means that we have responsibility. Wow, that's interesting. Next question is, hey, how professional are you from 0 to 10? 0 means you're a total bum, you shouldn't be here. 10, world class. Well, guess what? People predictably will peg themselves to be. On average, there will be 6 and higher. Because it's kind of embarrassing to say that you're a 3 or a 4, because then the question is, what are you even doing here? So right now, oh wow, what is the last question left to ask? We don't have the same time, but we have agreed it's time to start. We're all, legally adult. We're all above average professional. And what is the first time for being professional in a meeting? What do you mean? Well, what is it? Being on time. I agree with you, being on time. Tell you what, fantastic. Since we've all agreed that being on time is a sign of professionality, it's very simple. The session starts right now. Anybody who comes late owes us $50 cash on the till. It's called a consequence. So what is the magic of this? The magic is the following. When you shift from method A, telling people something, you know you need to do this, or you owe me this, to start asking questions, you will build a funnel of agreement. We all agree. We all agree again. Oh yes, we agree about that, but the logical consequence is this. And wow, we have all agreed to do that. Fantastic. So from now on, please, I suggest, stop telling people that something. That is only as last resort when you don't have time, when you literally have an emergency. You go, you do this now. Don't ask me, just jump. Why? Because the ship is sinking. Do it now. Other than that, every single thing, project, necessary action can actually be built into a little question and answer funnel. If you have a question about that, please do send me an email, and I will help you create a funnel around most any situation that will allow your team to gracefully follow you down and end up with a very logical agreement. Thanks for watching.